So now we are inside our project. We have many items here. First, we have our project, software project. If we click here, we can switch to other products of Atlassian, like Slack or Confluence. Confluence is used for writing documents, like the SRS and the retrospective. If you click on your work, you will see the issues that are related to you, like the issues that are assigned to you. In projects, we have all our projects. Here we can create another project or view other projects and move between them. We can search for any issue using this filter. In dashboards, we can track the status of our projects. In people, we can see our teammates, create a team or invite a teammate. In apps, we can integrate Jira with other applications like Slack, Excel, GitHub, Google Sheets, or any other application. Here also we have the search functionality, notifications. If someone, for example, mentioned me in an issue, I will see a notification here. We can get help from Jira from here, settings, and this is my profile and settings. If I need to create any issue inside Jira, and like we said, we have many issue types like user stories, epics, bugs, tasks, and subtasks, we click on create. On the left side, we have other items. We have our board, and we can have more than one board inside the same project. We can have, for example, a board for managing defects and another board for user stories. There is a roadmap, backlog, active sprints, reports, issues, components, code, releases, many items. So we need to understand the hierarchy of Jira. I have already opened the components because this is the first item in Jira. But let's return to the project. So here we have the active sprint, which is empty. So in Jira, like we said, we have our project. Inside the project, we begin to divide our project into components. So the first step inside our project is to create components. Let's imagine that we have a mobile application like Uber, for example. So in Uber, we have mobile app, but this mobile app has more than one version. So we can say that we have here component 1, which is Android Rider. So this is the application that you as a customer will use to order a cab or a taxi. We have also component 2, which is component number 2, which is iOS Rider. So I will assume that this application is a native application. In native applications, we develop two versions of the application, one for Android and one for iOS. We have another component 3, which is Android but driver. So in Uber, we have two applications, one that the end user uses and another that the driver uses. Also, we will have component number 4, which is iOS driver. Of course, recently we have also iPad OS. I don't know whether there is a version of Uber for iPads. Let's search for it. So yes, there is Uber version for iPads. Okay, but here, like we see, iPad, iPhone, and Apple Watch. But here there is a difference between the iPad version at the top and the iPhone version at the bottom. Okay, so the one at the top is the iPad version, the one in the middle is the iPhone version, and then we have the Apple Watch version. So this means that we can say that we have another component, okay, component number 5 for iPad OS, okay, Rider, and component number 6, Apple Watch rider. So in this case we have 4 applications for the rider. If we search for Uber driver, so also there is a version of Uber driver, but this version is only for iPads and iPhones. It is not available for Apple Watches. So in this case we can say that we have another component, okay, number 7, which is for iPad OS driver. So those are the 7 components of Uber, okay. But we can have, for example, another component, which is, we can say, website, okay, which is uber.com, I think. So this is the Uber website. You cannot order a taxi, I think, from it, but it is a front-end website which has some information about Uber. You can download the application from it. So this is another component, okay. So this is how we divide our project into components. This is component number 8. We can add a 9th component, which is the last one. We can call it the admin panel. So for example, if you order a taxi and then you have a problem with the driver, okay, in this case you send a request to the technical support in which you complain the driver. So those employees who are at Uber access this system from this website, which is the admin panel. So those are 9 components. So first, like we said, we have 1 components. After components, when we talk about Jira, we have epics. So what are the epics? The epics are the main functionalities that need to be developed. So for example, in Uber we have login epic, okay, we have registration epic, request a ride, okay, also leave a rating. We have also my previous trips. We have my wallet, in which you see how much money do you have. There is another functionality, for example, request a ride for a friend, and so on. So all of these features are inside the rider application. So here we can say Uber rider, okay, but there are another epics inside the Uber driver. So here we have Uber driver. Also we have login, register. So there is a registration in the driver application, but it's different than the registration in the user application or the rider application. We have accept a ride, decline a ride. So the user requested a ride, the driver can accept or decline a ride. Also you can leave a rating, okay. There is the balance, so for each day how much money did you make using the application. We have also previous trips, my rating. So here the driver has a rating, which is very important for him. My balance, okay, which he can withdraw, for example, using an ATM machine. Also set status, so the driver can set his status to busy or active or anything. So all of those are considered as epics. So like we said, the epics are the main functionalities. In each epic we have user stories. So like we said, the first thing is components, then epics, then we have user stories. So we can say 3 user stories, okay. And like we said, the user story is the functionality that I need to develop and test. It is written in the form of, as a user, I want something in order to achieve a goal. So inside the login epic, this is the login epic, we have many user stories. So we can say, as a user, I want to be able to log in using phone number. So this is a way of logging in. Another user story, as a user, I want to be able to log in using email address. This is another user story. We have another user story, as a user, I want to be able to log in using Apple ID. Okay, this is for iOS. Those are some user stories that are related to login. For example, also in the login, as a user, I want to be able to save my login credentials so that I don't have to log in again each time I open the app. Okay, so those are user stories that are related to the login functionality, which is an epic. Inside each user story, we can have tasks. So step 4 is tasks and subtasks. So for example, in the first user story, which is login using phone number, we can have an arrow here and say that we have a task which is 1, create wireframe for login, and here we assign it to the designer. Okay, then we have develop login feature. Those are tasks. Okay, this is at developer. Then we have for example, create test cases for login functionality at tester. We can say also perform code review for login functionality. Here the developer and the tester if he understands coding. And then another task, for example, execute login test cases and report found defects. And here this is for the tester. Here I'm tagging the person who is responsible for each task of these tasks. So this is the hierarchy of Jira. We have, like we said, first the components, which are the main parts of my project. I divide my project into some components. We can have from 1 component until, for example, 10 components, not more than this number. Epics are main functionalities that will take some time. So if I have a functionality like, for example, about us, I can say, no, this is not an epic, this is a user story. Why? This is a functionality in the application. Yes, but it's a small functionality. But if the functionality is big, I say that it's an epic, then divide it into multiple user stories. Then we have the tasks and the subtasks that will be required in order to develop our features in the application. This is the hierarchy of Jira. In the next video, we will begin to create our components.